With a few specks of water on the windscreen here, and we're at the Hungaroring to drive the new McLaren 600LT. You probably remember that name. It means long tail. It relates back to the F1 GTR with its longer bodywork. Don't get too caught up in that. This car is longer, it's 74mm longer, but it's more about the philosophy. McLaren says it's about getting a sharper car with more feel. They set that template with the 675 a few years ago. We love that car. This one just takes it down a segment. They're not putting a cap on numbers. It's going to be built for a year, £185,000. So we've still got the 3.8 litre twin turbo engine, the 7-speed paddle shift dual clutch gearbox. Power goes up to 592 brake horsepower from 560 something. The rest of it, the 0 to 62 time, 2.9 seconds, 675LT. Cornering speeds are supposed to be higher than the 675LT, which gives you some indication of how the game has moved on. 100 kilos has been taken out of this car, really impressive number. So if you spec everything, all the lightweight options, that gives you 1274 dry. So it's a really, really light car. So that's really more than the power, that's what counts. Aerodynamically as well, because it's called long tail, it is longer. You've got a longer rear spoiler, longer front splitter, as you would on any car of this type basically. That gives you 100 kilos of downforce as well. So we're out on the Hungaroring. Notice a few things. We've been out in the 570S already. That's a great car, one of our favourite cars. You get into this and you do notice things like the extra precision in the steering. The steering's 3% quicker. This lovely Alcantara rim. A lot of feel, and every little movement of this wheel, it's got a nice weight to it, and it's very, very responsive and direct, and every little touch does something. It's got the 720S front suspension, which widens the track, and you really feel that. You also feel that the lower centre of gravity has been lowered a bit, so there's less roll in this car, and just combined with the weight transfer and the way it moves around, it does make a real difference to how this car feels. The gear shifts are faster as well. Now before, when I was doing some faster laps, they didn't feel that quick. When you drive around at lower speed, you actually notice them more somehow. You also notice the pedal responses. Everything just feels a bit sharper in this car. All the slack sort of been dialed out of it. There's less understeer, the steering's faster. The gear shifts are faster, you know, you can feel them pop down. It's just sometimes the same when you do faster laps. Maybe it's like a traction thing, I don't know. They just didn't feel as fast as I thought. But it's this turning into corners like this, the lack of roll, the control of understeer. It's a very, very positive, easy to drive but exciting car. Trofeo R's as well, Pirelli, very sticky tyres. They really help the feel and the kind of granularity of this car, the kind of analogue feel to it. The engine's been tuned for a more progressive torque curve. It can feel a bit flat in the standard car, but on track, to be honest, you don't really notice that. Top exit exhaust are really interesting. That's all part of an aero kind of package, but it's a shorter path as well for the exhaust gases, and that just gives reduced back pressure, better response to the pedal. McLaren engines are often a little bit laggy, a little bit lacking in response. Just starts to rotate as you tip it into a corner like that, which is really nice. Not leery, just very agile and nimble. The new brake booster as well, which gives this pedal and these carbon ceramic brakes a really direct, positive, nice feel, which again just fits with the philosophy behind this car. Very responsive, all the slack dialed out of it. You know, it's a funny kind of car. This, in some ways, in the market it sits in. It's, you know, you can say it's a GT3 RS rival, an AMG GTR, and it also is kind of nipping at the heels at things like the Ferrari 488 Pista. It's kind of got its own little bit of fresh air, and it is really exciting, really nimble, and really accessible and easy to drive. I think it's a really convincingly polished car. It's just going to be interesting to see where they go next with this long tail name. Right, we're in. That is our lap over, and we're into the pits at Hungaroring. So hopefully you enjoyed that very brief taster.